Hi, Doug McDonald here again today. In this short video, we're going to introduce you to the elements you need to configure in Procare to use the family accounting functions. Things like setting up your chart of accounts, your bank accounts, what accounts you'll use to deposit money into, your charge and credit descriptions, and so on. Let's go ahead and get started. We begin at the main screen of Procare right after you sign in. Go to the Configuration menu at the top and then the System subsection. The parts we're going to look at today are under the Accounting Management section of Procare. Chart of accounts, bank accounts, and deposit accounts, standard amounts for the charge descriptions that you'll create here. Those are the 5 things we'll be looking at. Chart of accounts and bank accounts, you'll notice, are global and they're part of the base accounting management system in Procare. We'll begin with the chart of accounts. This is the financial underpinnings or foundation of Procare. It's divided up into assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expense accounts. If you're unfamiliar with these accounting terms or accounting structures, we'd recommend you get some more knowledge in that area to feel more comfortable with this. The area we're concerned with today is the current asset accounts, which contains things like undeposited payments. This is a special account in Procare which receives payments from parents that are not yet deposited into a specific bank account, such as the Wells Fargo. We have a little error there, we'll change that. Wells Fargo checking, or maybe our CD account if it is set up to receive more deposits. You can maybe make deposits into the money market account. We'll see how we set those up in just a moment. And then the rest of our current assets include things like accounts receivable, the employee advances, and so forth. And once we've set up our bank account names with real names, this is how you'll see it when you first come in to Procare. It'll be my savings account, my checking account. So you just go ahead and set up those account names the way you want them. Save and exit. After changing the bank account names in your chart of accounts, the next thing to do is set them up as banking accounts. You'll notice we've got the checking account that we set up for Wells Fargo, the CD account, money market, and the petty cash. Over on the right will indicate whether those are actual checkbooks that we can write checks against, for example, for accounts payable or payroll, and if they're usable as deposit accounts, which we'll cover next. So these 2 sections need to be configured first. Once you have those set, you can begin to work on your family accounting setup in the area of charge descriptions, let's say. These are global, and when you create them in here, you would expose these descriptions to either all of your regions and all schools, or you can set it individually school by school. These are the broad categories that you'll use for your charge descriptions, such as tuition charge descriptions at the top, other charge descriptions, special charge descriptions, and special credits I'll get to in a moment. Credit descriptions are something you'll use to credit or discounts, for example, some other sort of credit like a vacation credit or maybe an agency adjustment credit. And payments, of course. Payments would be set up here as the type of payments that you receive from parents. Note that you'll want a payment description for each type of tuition express payment you receive: direct banking, direct credit card, or credit card point of sale. Special charges are generally deposits you might receive from parents on account. So we have several different examples here of the types of deposits that we might receive in advance of tuition being charged. The other special charge is a balance forward. This represents the amount owing by a family when you first put them into Procare. If you're coming from another system, this is the balance forward you would put in for them owing. A special credit description is the offset to the special charge, or the deposit refund. Basically, they're going to use up that deposit. The next section here is deposit accounts. This relates to the bank accounts that we set up before, and it's set up school by school. So I'm in my school 1. You'll tell Procare here, school by school, which accounts are actually deposit accounts, which bank accounts can you actually put money into, and so on. So you just set those by school. When you go to make the deposit within Procare, you'll then have these accounts to choose where the money is going into. You notice we left the petty cash there as one of them, so we could retain some of that money in the school if we want in the petty cash. The last section here is standard amounts. This relates to your charge and credit descriptions that we just talked about setting up. So by category, tuition charge, other charge, special charge, credit, special credit, and payment, you'll do this one school at a time again, because you may have different standard amounts for the schools. You'd want to set standard amounts if most of your families are charged the same amount for that charge description. If, however, the charge varies family by family for those descriptions, it's best to just leave them as 0. So all of those things would need to be set up before you begin to use your family accounting. That's going to be covered in our follow-up video, entering charges and payments into ledger cards. Thanks very much for joining us today.